Prince Harry and Meghan have been brutally roasted on Saturday Night Live by Colin Jost during his Weekend Update sketch. Let's take a look.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant. A Christmas photo released by the royal family features a bad Photoshop job where Prince Louis's finger appears to be missing. And this is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it. King Charles said that researchers will be given access to royal archives after it was discovered that his ancestors had shares in a slave trading company. Yeah, it was called England. It was reported that Diddy once invited Prince Harry and Prince William to one of his parties, but they did not go. Although before Diddy could even finish writing the invite, Prince Andrew was there.
So, Colin Jost, a man who makes a living roasting the world, just dropped a truth bomb on a certain royal couple on SNL. And it was so brutally funny, it's like he hit them with a metaphorical cricket bat. Whispers from the studio audience claim the joke was so sharp it could cut glass, revolving around a new US-UK trade deal, and the one condition for it: the Sussexes had to go back to Britain. The roar from the crowd wasn't just laughter, it was a sigh of relief. It was a sign that the whole world was finally turning on them. But was this just a joke, or was it the comedic equivalent of a dam bursting, opening the floodgates for what's to come?
Earlier today, Suits actress Meghan Markle married some unemployed dude who still lives with his grandma.
This jab wasn't an isolated incident. It was the comedic equivalent of a dam bursting. For years, the royal couple has been a protected species in Hollywood. No one dared to poke fun at them publicly. It was a no-go zone, a sacred cow you didn't touch. But Jost's joke was more than just a simple one-liner. It was an opening shot, a signal to every other late-night host and stand-up comic that the rules had changed. It was like the court jester finally got permission to tell the king what everyone else was thinking.
Elon built electric cars, he's going to Mars. Why isn't he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits.
Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H.
For doing absolutely nothing.
See, I didn't know who H was. At the time, I just loved his Insta feed. And, you know, I was living in the middle of nowhere in Toronto, Canada. And I didn't even really know the word royal. I mean, besides the Lord song. I love that song. It's an amazing pop rock ballad.
And he'll say M and you'll say H and your friends say M and it just is a thing.
It's a thing.
And do you both love it?
Yes, and I like nicknames a lot.
What could it be? A mystery for the ages.
Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I...
The question is, what happened in Hollywood that finally gave comedians the green light to roast the self-proclaimed victims? Rumors say it all started with their Netflix docuseries. You know, the one where they demanded privacy by inviting cameras into their private lives. Comedians watched it with a mix of disbelief and professional interest, knowing that every contradiction was a goldmine for material. The endless talk of vulnerability while they were sitting in a multi-million-dollar mansion was simply too rich to ignore. For a couple who wants to be left alone, they sure do spend a lot of time on camera. But that wasn't the biggest hypocrisy that caught the attention of every comic in town.
Switching gears, Meghan Markle just announced her new lifestyle brand called As Ever, which is a little confusing because it used to be called American Riviera Orchard. This is true. And before that, it was called The Tig. Yes, confusing. But it's like, you know, it's like food, beauty, wellness, home decor. This is branding, life branding stuff. So we understand it can be hard to name your brand. Did you guys see this? Meghan Markle announced that her As Ever product line sold out in under an hour. It's strange when you marry a prince and you're the breadwinner of the family. Meghan was excited while Prince Harry was like, what the hell am I going to do with 3,000 cases of wildflower honey?
The biggest hypocrisy that comedians just couldn't ignore was their constant flip-flopping. One minute they're crusading for the environment, and the next they're jetting around the globe on a private plane. It's the kind of behavior that makes you scratch your head and ask, wait, what's going on here? One minute they're all about healing and finding their truth, and the next they're on a podcast revealing family secrets. A comic friend of mine calls it narrative whiplash. It's like they have two separate scripts and they just randomly choose which one to read from on any given day. But the most baffling thing, allegedly, is their obsession with brand names.
I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. They're the original racists.
The irony is earth-shattering, isn't it? Harry and Meghan and the Duke and Duchess of gaslighting themselves. The entire show is a cynical attempt to manipulate viewers into questioning their own recollections of reality. And if we learned anything at all from the first 3 hours of this $100 million wine-a-thon, it's surely that this dismal duo wouldn't know the truth if it smacked them around their smug chops.
If you came up with...
The whispers around Hollywood are that their brand is a complete mess. It used to be the TIG, then it was American Riviera Orchard, and now it's As Ever. The jokes just write themselves. It's like they're a band that changes their name every month, never able to stick with a single identity. One comedian put it perfectly. They're trying to build a lifestyle brand, but their lifestyle is running from one controversy to another. It makes you wonder what their brand is even about. Wellness? Justice? Or is it just a brand built on constant confusion and self-promotion? It's all a little confusing, and some say it's a strategy to keep us on our toes. But what if this isn't confusion at all, but a very calculated move?
The picture of an annoying, insufferable white woman, it would be Meghan Markle, even though she's not white.
They're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's gonna be. I'm like, that's not racist. Because even black people want to know. The American hussies he's hooked up with. She's come to turn him into a Kardashian. That little American hussy has ruined my prince.
Oh my God, I can't even. These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
Some in the comedy circuit who watch this stuff like a hawk have a theory. They say all the brand changes and public statements aren't a sign of confusion, but a meticulously planned strategy to control the narrative. The constant buzz around their projects, the documentary, the memoir, the podcasts, it's all designed to keep them relevant, to keep their names in the headline. It's a cynical attempt to manipulate the media and the public into a continuous cycle of engagement because, for them, bad press is still press. But there's one thing they forgot to consider. When you play this game, you make yourself a target for everyone, especially the ruthless world of animation. Enter South Park. The infamous worldwide privacy tour episode wasn't just a parody, it was a character assassination delivered with surgical precision. It was so brutal and on the nose that rumors say it sent shockwaves through their Montecito mansion. The show portrayed them as whiny, attention-seeking narcissists who wanted privacy while parading around with sigh. It was a satirical masterpiece, a 20-minute roast that felt like 100 years of therapy for everyone who was tired of their antics. The episode hit so hard that sources close to their camp said Meghan was allegedly upset and overwhelmed. But if that episode was a haymaker, the next one was a knockout punch. Following South Park, another heavyweight of animation, Family Guy, stepped into the ring. They showed the couple living in a palace, whining about money while doing a sponsored Instagram post for tacos. It wasn't subtle. It was a mirror held up to their faces, reflecting a level of self-parody that was previously thought to be impossible. The joke was so cutting because it tapped into a universal truth. You can't be a victim while living a life of unimaginable luxury and privilege. The contrast between their sob stories and their lavish lifestyle is just too jarring. But here's the real twist. It's not just the comedians and cartoonists who are roasting them. It's the very same media that once championed them. There are whispers in the media world that the outlets who once hailed them as brave rebels are now cashing in on their downfall. It's a classic case of build them up to tear them down. The narrative shifted so quickly from poor Meghan to Meghan the manipulator that it felt like a coordinated campaign. One day, they were front-page heroes, and the next, they were being skewered in op-eds and gossip columns. Sources close to the palace claim it was a deliberate pivot by the press, driven by metrics and clicks. Sympathy sells, but scandal sells even better. So, the question remains, was this media turn a betrayal, or did they simply provide the media with the perfect ammunition? They allegedly provided the media with everything they needed. From the memoir filled with family secrets to the public statements filled with contradictions, they handed over a treasure trove of material on a silver platter. They talked about being silenced while giving 1 million interviews. They complained about the tabloids while dropping bombshells for a global audience. It's like they wanted to play a high-stakes game of chess, but they didn't know the rules. You can't control a narrative when your actions constantly contradict your words. And this brings us to the ultimate question everyone in Hollywood is asking. Is there any way back from this level of self-destruction? Many in the industry say there's no coming back from this. The satirical clips, the memes, the brutal roasts, it's all cemented their place in popular culture as laughingstock. They're no longer seen as victims, but as performance artists lost in their own script. The jokes don't land because people hate them, they land because they are a perfect reflection of their behavior. One comic puts it like this: they are the poster children for saying one thing and doing another. It's not satire anymore, it's a mirror. And the biggest problem is, they seem constitutionally incapable of doing the one thing that would save them. The one thing they allegedly can't do is shut up. The general sentiment is if they want to be left alone, they need to stop doing interviews, stop making documentaries, and stop writing memoirs. They need to disappear from the public eye and live a private life, a concept they talk about but never practice. But every time the public interest wanes, they pop up with a new project, a new statement, or a new tell-all, reigniting the flame of public ridicule. It's a vicious cycle that they seem unwilling to break. What if they need this attention to survive? The whispers are getting louder. Some insiders believe that this constant, chaotic spectacle isn't just for attention, but for financial survival. With multi-million-dollar deals to pay for, they can't afford to step out of the spotlight. They need the drama, the controversy, the headlines to keep the money flowing. They've become so dependent on the public narrative that they can no longer live without it. They're like a high-wire act with no safety net, and the only thing keeping them from falling is the endless stream of content they produce. But what happens when the content runs out and the public stops caring? The consensus among comedians and media pundits is that the public is already getting bored. The well of sympathy has run dry, and the jokes are becoming redundant. There's a new wave of celebrity chaos on the horizon, and the Sussexes may soon find themselves on the back burner. What happens when the public finds a new object of ridicule? What will they do when they are no longer the main event? Sources allegedly say their team is already scrambling for a new strategy. What will be their next move? A podcast about silence? A memoir about not writing memoirs? They are in a full-blown collapse into self-parody. They had the world's sympathy, and allegedly, they threw it all away for fame, money, and control of a narrative that has now completely turned on them. The truth, as they say, always comes out. And in this case, it's being delivered one brutal punchline at a time. The royal circus isn't packing up anytime soon, and as long as they keep giving the public reasons to tune in, they will always be a punchline. But what if the next punchline isn't funny at all?